because it is a wonderful country in many ways. And by the way, I fully expect to see reunification with the North much before any of you do. I think reunification is coming soon, and that's going to make Korea an even more interesting and exciting place if it does happen within the next 5 years, as I anticipate. But in the meantime, I recently went around the world. My then fiancée, she's now my wife, and I spent 3 years driving around the world. We drove through 116 countries. We drove 245,000 kilometers. And as you can see, we got into the Guinness Book of World Records. I'm the first hedge fund manager to drive around the world. So, in my case, it was pretty easy to get into the Guinness records. Paige and I started in Iceland. We drove through Europe, Turkey, China, Korea, Japan, back across Siberia and Mongolia, across Russia, all around Europe, 32 countries in Africa, Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, down to the bottom of South America, up through Central America, up to Alaska, back down to the southern part of the United States. But I basically am not investing in stock markets around the world. If I were looking for new investments in March of 2008, the places that I would look would be Japan, Korea, and Taiwan, by the way, because these markets are perhaps better situated than most Western markets because of China, because of what's happening in Asia, because I expect there to be reunification with North and South Korea. Those are the three markets that I will be looking at, and China, of course, I will be looking at. But at the moment, for the most part, I'm not investing in stocks. Commodities are far better place to be. I showed you what's been going on. I'm trying to explain to you there is a gigantic bull market in commodities developing. It's got a long way to go, so for the most part, I've not been being invested in stocks. If the Korean stock market goes down a lot more, then I expect to be back here investing, because as I said, I think there will be reunification. And once there is reunification, North and South Korea combined are going to be an extremely powerful force in the world, economic force in the world, because there are 70 million of you. You'll have all that cheap labor, all those natural resources. You've got an enormous amount of capital and expertise and brains down here. They've got a lot of cheap labor and raw materials. So the Japanese are going to have to worry. A lot of people are going to have to worry once there is reunification for North and South Korea. Especially in real estate. The Chinese have raised interest rates 5 times in the last year. They've raised reserve requirements 11 times. I wish the Chinese central bank were running the American central bank, because the Chinese central bank is doing a lot better job than the American central bank. But having said that, some sectors of the Chinese economy are going to suffer in the next year. America's in recession, and as the recession affects more and more of the world, including China,